consistent with my uploads. It is one of my New Year's resolutions. So let's see what's been hot and coming this month, this year, and check out what we missed on Reddit. Okay friends, grab a drink, get a snack, get cozy here, because we're starting with the first story. The first story has been posted 25 days ago and got 17.7k upvotes, and it is called "Am I the asshole for refusing to give up my extra seat for someone else's toddler on a flight that I paid for because I am fat?" I, 34 female, am obese. I am actively working towards losing weight and have made progress, but I'm still, as I'm typing this, I am going over to see my brother and his husband for Christmas across the country, and because I'm fat, I booked an extra seat so everyone can be more comfortable. I know it sucks having to pay for an extra seat, but it is what it is. I know Southwest Airlines has this customer of size policy, but I've had some bad experience with Southwest even before I was obese, so I wasn't doing that, and it's mostly my fault I even got fat. Everything goes smoothly from checking into security and boarding, at least at first. This woman comes to my row with a boy who appeared to be about a year old. She told me to squeeze into one seat so her son could sit in the other. She told me, not asked. I told her no, and that I paid for the seat and for the extra space. She makes a big fuss over it, which got the flight attendant's attention. She told the flight attendant I was stealing the seat from her son. Then I showed my boarding passes and provided that I, in fact, paid for the extra seat. The flight attendant asked me if I could try to squeeze in, but I said no, that I wanted the extra seat I paid for. The boy, who the mom said is 18 months old, was supposed to sit in her lap, so he could just do that. The flight attendant eventually told the mom to put her son in her lap. I get a dirty look and passive-aggressive remarks from her the entire flight, and I do feel a little bad because the boy looked hard to control. So, am I the asshole? Alright, so what are we thinking about this story, you guys? The overall Reddit vote on this one was not the asshole, and I think I would agree, because I don't know who would think she can be the asshole in this situation. Like, in general, you pay for it, you get it. We are not a charity here, okay? And she does not have to give this seat she paid for to anyone else. It's like the same if someone tries to switch for a window seat when the person has specifically paid for a window seat. You wouldn't do that. If someone was sitting on that flight, on that chair, your toddler couldn't sit there. So I feel like she was very justified in her response, and to not give this woman her seat because she got it for comfort. She got it for comfort. I can tell you 100% right. If she wouldn't have, and the son would have to sit there, and this lady would have made a fatphobic video about it, that she's like stealing space on airplane, and it's so annoying to sit next to a person like this. Why don't they buy an extra seat? So many people would go on about that she should just buy an extra seat. So I think she did the right thing in any way in this case, and she's totally within her rights to insist on her seat. I find it ridiculous that the mother even demands this. Like, what if the seat would have a person on? You couldn't sit in it. I a seat for her son, and assuming someone else would give up a seat they paid for. Odds are she was hoping there'd be extra seats on the flight and she didn't have to pay, and used the lap thing as a loophole. Classic case of if you snooze, you lose. Not the asshole. Someone said, not the asshole, you paid for that seat, it is yours. An email to SBA asking them to remind their flight attendants to enforce the seat policy would be warranted. You asked the flight attendant for help and she told you to squeeze in one seat for the unticketed child. You might even get some miles or goodies for it. OP said to that, I didn't fly Southwestern airline because of some bad experiences with them in the past. I had to give free extra seats now, but I didn't want to do that. So yeah, just to clarify, she didn't fly Southwestern airlines. I don't know. Not the asshole. You are a bit of an asshole to yourself for how apologetic you are in this post about your size. You should always do what you can to be as healthy as you can, but being fat isn't a character flaw or moral failing. We all have our own challenges in life, and you deserve to not be ashamed of your body and yourself, even if you aren't currently meeting your own goals. If mom wanted an extra seat for her kids, she should have purchased one. She's not entitled to a seat you purchased, and you do not need to feel bad for her bad behavior. That was so well said. OP actually responds to this and said, I'm not really apologetic about or ashamed of my body as much as I am stating a fact. I used to eat unhealthily and didn't exercise. It wasn't until I had a heart attack at 33 that I decided this couldn't go on. Yeah, I don't know, make that what you will, but I think the comment really summarized this well, that she's responsible. Well, this child. Okay, so not the asshole to the story. The next story is kind of festive. We'll see. It is called Am I the Asshole for Ruining Christmas and Being Upset the Only Gifts I Got from my family were joke gifts? This story was posted 11 days ago and got 17.5k upvotes. So, quite a lot of upvotes. Some background. My family likes to play pranks with Christmas and birthday gifts. It's nothing new. I, female 21, as well as my 5 siblings from 29 to 37 years old, have all been pranked on our birthdays and on Christmas, and usually it's 1 or 2 gifts. This Christmas though, I was the only person to get all joke gifts. For example, I unwrapped a MacBook from my brother. When I opened it, it was just some chocolate, which I don't eat, so I gave it away. And the MacBook was actually given to my sister inside a bag she wanted. Another gift was what I thought was a book I put on my Christmas list, was actually just the book cover put on a dictionary. When I asked my mom about the book, she told me she gave it to my sister-in-law. This went on with each present my siblings or parents had given me. AirPods was just a charger block, adapter, gifts cards were used and had 0 balance, a card with Monopoly money, and so on, totaling to about 12 joke gifts. I realized I went out of my way to get everyone something they wanted, or they didn't get anything. At this point, I was bummed, so I went to the living room to watch TV with my boyfriend. At dinner, they were all talking about how much they loved the gift, and when my dad asked why I hadn't said Everyone but my boyfriend laughed, and my mom said it was no big deal as everyone else also got some joke gifts. I told her every gift I got was a joke gift, and that the ones they got was also followed by a real one. My dad told me I need to relax as I'm making a big deal about it, and I'd have next Christmas to get the stuff on my list. Not wanting to go back and forth, I told my boyfriend I wanted to leave, and we can spend the rest of Christmas break with his family, then go home. My family got mad and told me not to go and to go stay because it just wasn't that serious. I left and put my phone on Do Not Disturb during the drive, and by the time we got to my boyfriend's parents' house, I had several missed calls and texts from them calling me names like ungrateful, sensitive, and childish. They said I ruined Christmas and made my parents upset because I left. The next day, I exchanged and opened gifts with my boyfriend and his family, and one of the gifts was the book I wanted, the book my mom pretended to give me. I posted it on my Instagram story, and not even 0 minutes after posting it, my sister sent a screenshot of my story to the family group chat, and they basically got mad at me for leaving and telling me I ruined Christmas over some presents. They told me I owe everyone, especially my parents, an apology because my mom spent New Year's sad because of my actions. Now, I just want an outsider party to tell me if I am the asshole here. Am I in the wrong for being upset about the gifts and for leaving? After reading the messages and sitting on this for a few days, I am now feeling like maybe I was upset over nothing and need to apologize to them. Gonna add it as there may have been some misunderstanding. My Christmas list didn't include expensive gifts, nor was I upset I didn't receive expensive gifts. I was merely upset because of being pranked with everything I got and being the only person who didn't get a real present. That is all. Another thing I'll address is I don't do anything to my family which would warrant them doing this. The last big argument I had was with my sister, which was over a year and a half ago. Thank you for the replies. I will try my best to reply to comments while I'm at work. Okay, right off the bat, not the asshole. That was also the overall vote on Reddit. I feel really sorry for this girl. I feel like, okay, so see, for me, Christmas isn't about like gifts and stuff, you know, but in a way, it is about making an effort for the people you love, and it's not about material gifts as such, but I feel like thoughtful gifts are appreciated, where you realize the person actually thought about you, what you would enjoy, and wanted to make an effort for you. And I feel like that could be as small as a picture or like a nice card, something handmade, something from the op shop. I don't know, but getting someone excited for gifts and then they just being pranked, I feel like first I kind of like, I don't like that. First of all, I think I wouldn't very much enjoy this tradition they're having, and second of all, I kind of also think it's kind of mean because she said she got gifts for everyone else, like nice gifts they wanted, and then prank her and don't realize supposed loved one on Christmas, especially. It's absolutely beyond me. I feel like there's some family problems there that are not addressed. Really weird. The top comment is, do not apologize. Your family sucks and you have done nothing wrong. I would write something like this in the group chat. Happy New Year's, guys. I understand that Mom is sad that I left on Christmas, but you need to understand that you all made me sad on Christmas Day. I did not receive a single thoughtful gift from you guys. Not one. Every single gift I opened was a prank where the joke was that you actually didn't get me something I would like, but something intentionally got to upset me. My hope is that you all just didn't realize that every single gift given to me was meant as a joke, but it was, every single one. It isn't being ungrateful to be disappointed in that, and I think you all know that I am ready, and I think you all know that. I am ready to move on from this disappointing Christmas and believe you that next year will be different, but I will not be apologizing for leaving on Christmas when you all hurt me. This comment got a lot of likes and upvotes, and someone even commented on it and said, more succinctly, the biggest prank you played that night was fooling me into thinking I had a family that loved me beforehand. Well, I think the first message is very well written. I feel like I really can pick up some toxic vibes from this family. Don't be that person. Yeah, I feel like the family is clearly the asshole here and clearly in the wrong. I feel sorry for the girl. I think, you know, you might not be expecting a MacBook or something, but if you celebrate Christmas traditionally, then you are, you know, kind of expecting some form of gift that is nice and enjoyable, and she even made a list. She got other people gifts on her own, and I can't imagine how disappointing it would be to open one gift after the other, and they're all being joke gifts that aren't even like usable. Do you know what I mean? If one of the joke gifts would have been, I don't know, oh god, I have no explanations. Like, something she still would have liked, you know, like put the encyclopedia cover on the book she actually wanted, you know, that is still a prank, but it's getting her something she actually wanted. So I thought that would have been okay, in my opinion, but like that, and then like giving the actual book away to the sister-in-law, it's just very icky. I don't know, it sounds very toxic, but I'm happy for her that my boyfriend's family actually ended chef full-time. They have lived with us for the past year and a half due to getting evicted from their last home. Their kids and them have our upstairs bedroom because they are two, but that is still very crowded for 6 children. They are constantly asking me for help with the phone bills. My husband and I have asked for no rent so they would be able to save money to get a home, but I do not believe they were doing. I have put up with a lot of loud noises through all hours and waking up at different hours to cater to children because I do love my grandchildren. I never complained to my daughter because I believe family is very important. It's just that my children are all grown up. My youngest moved out 4 years ago and my husband and I had hopes to remodel. We didn't expect them to be living here this long. My cat. Sorry guys. On Christmas Eve, my daughter gathered us all. Christmas Eve, my daughter gathered us all around and announced they were pregnant with baby number 7. Everyone was all excited, but I felt dread. That would mean another child in our house with not much room. I looked over at my husband and could tell he felt the same. We discussed later and decided we are going to have to ask them to move out. Last night at dinner, I brought it up to my daughter and her boyfriend, and we told them they have 2 months to find a new place because we cannot have another child here. My daughter started crying, saying she couldn't believe I'd throw her to the streets for having a baby, that this was completely unfair and not enough time. I told her I was sorry, it was painful for me as well, but these living conditions were impossible. She demanded I'd give her more time or she'd go to the courts, and I told her, newsflash, the courts only give you 30 days. She then said my grandchildren were going to be homeless because I was selfish. She made a Facebook post asking for rooms to rent because she is pregnant and has nowhere to go, and her family doesn't give a shit about her. Am I the asshole? I'm very intrigued what Reddit has to say this. The overall edit is the overall point is not the asshole, and I think I would agree. Having kids is an active decision and has to be made by the parents, not by the grandparents. And when you want children, you have to be very sure that you can take care of them, and obviously sometimes it happens unexpectedly and you're not in a perfect situation right now, but that is most and foremost your own problem, not someone else's problem. So I think the daughter should be very grateful here that her parents have already supported her for so long, but also understand that they want their space now. She's 27, she is out the house, like they want their space. It's a tiny house as it sounds. It's loud and annoying for the parents, so I feel like they're definitely not the assholes, and some understanding and gratefulness for all the support she's received beforehand would be in order here. Okay, top comment is she's 7 kids and a husband living at home with mom and dad. Haha. Seems like she's just trying to take over your home, OP. Well, yeah, maybe. Who knows? I mean, she's probably hoping to live there and not having to pay rent for a while, you know. Okay, the second someone who is tired of enabling someone to continue taking advantage of them with no plans to ever grow up and take responsibility for their fuck-ups and try to change. Yes, you are the latter. I cannot imagine how a person could be so young with so many kids and still think that having sex without taking every precaution to prevent contraception is a good idea. Yeah. If you don't kick it out, I can guarantee you that within 5 years she will exceed 10 children, if not more. It's not just the having another kid either, it's the fact that don't respect your home or the sacrifices you and your husband are making for her and her kids. She probably doesn't do much around the house either, does she? Nor do I believe she contributes to the groceries outside of buying herself and her boyfriend certain items they like and keeping them put for themselves. She needs to drastically change her life and start planning for her future and the future of her children, because they are going to have an extremely hard life. And I'm sad to say she's already ruined hers. Good luck, OP, you are going to need it. Yeah, well, this is an interesting comment. It definitely raises the question if the daughter is just really leeching on the parents and like hoping they are paying for everything and stuff. It is definitely, as I said, a pregnancy can happen unexpectedly, but maybe not 6, 7, and at some point, if you can't afford having children, if you can't afford entertaining having children, you should try and be a little more careful with your reproduction, yeah. So yeah, I do think this is a bit weird. It sounds like a little nester. It's also weird that the boyfriend's father of all these children has like no ones to like move out of her parents' house. So yeah, I think a lot of these people are like really saying it's like trashy to have so many children when you live at their mom's house like that. I feel like that's a little rude. But yeah, I feel like OP has already done some wonderful work helping his daughter out in a situation where, you know, she might have actually needed help, but I think at this point she's actually just taking advantage of the fact that her mother isn't kicking her out. So yeah, I think it definitely needs to be done. It will be good for the daughter in the long run, even though she might not be able to see it right now. But let's continue to the next story. Right, the next story is called "Am I the Asshole for Not Wanting My Sister at My Wedding, since she is in a wheelchair and will take up all of the spotlight?" This was posted 9 days ago and got 14.6k upvotes. My sister, 26, has been on and off out of the hospital. I'm going to call my sister Anna. Anna got cancer when she was 15 and was able to beat it. Ever since, she's been having growth, and anytime one appears, we are worried about the cancer coming back. My issue is that she always makes these announcements that she needs to go to the doctors again at the worst times. At the beginning, I thought it was just bad timing, but it has happened so many times when I hit a milestone. Situations, my birthdays, my engagement party. Anytime she makes an announcement she needs to go back to the hospital, my whole family will flock to her. I've had my birthday dinner turn into my relatives flock to her for the whole night. I had a dinner party to announce my wedding dates for my relatives. It was going so great and it was a fun time until Anna told Mum she needed to go back to the hospital. Soon everyone forgot about the reason for the dinner party was invited to the wedding, and it is in 2 weeks. I learned today she is in and on and off in a wheelchair from my mom/Anna. What? Okay. She will need to take it just in case for the wedding. I asked if the rest of the family was informed, and she told me no. I told both of them they need to inform them. They told me they don't want to worry them, and they won't do that. I had enough and told them, you need to tell before my wedding. Again, a no. I then informed them Anna is not invited. This started a huge argument about how I'm a dick, and my point is that I'm sick of her stealing the spotlight. That's what will happen if she rolls in with a wheelchair. At it, I'm going to do a mass blast to all my relatives saying she's in a wheelchair, and unsure if she will be able to make it to my wedding. Keep my sister in their thoughts and prayers. I'm getting ahead of this. Okay, that is honestly what I would probably have done as well. I understand that, you know, being sick is probably really, really hard, and I kind of can't imagine going through that as, you know, a person, like as a sister, and you probably do want to share things with your family, but I feel like they do come at a very, you know, very unexpected, not very great moments. It's kind of like you could definitely put this off. You could kind of say it at the end of the party if it's really that important, or just kind of find a different way to communicate these things. It kind of does feel like the sister is trying to steal the spotlight, or, you know, not even the spotlight, but I feel like she wants to have all the attention on her and gets jealous whenever it is about her sister, and not particularly about her, but, you know, it's kind of like how it feels. I don't know. Comment. You need to sit down with your parents privately and in person if possible. Explain calmly that you love your sister, but that she has been using her health situation to hijack every event in your life. Give the examples you gave us and every single example you can recall. Explain that, like them, you are concerned about her health, but you would like your wedding day to focus on you and your fiancé. This is extremely important to you, and you're asking them not just to comply, but to back you up on this. Explain that you have asked her to inform everyone of her wheelchair use, and she refused. You asked her not to make this one day about her, and she's signaling that she will not honor your request. After trying to come to a compromise, you and your fiancé have decided that if she cannot stop herself from springing this and continuing to demand everyone's attention at an inappropriate time, your wedding, that it is best she does not attend. It has been 11 years. Her situation is sad, but it's obvious that she's leveraged it and continues to manipulate everyone. Not the asshole. IP actually comments and says this. You know what the saddest part is? At one point I could say I love her with all my heart, and now I can't. It's a weird feeling to feel your love of someone turn into disdain. Yeah, I feel like the not wanting to tell people before the wedding that she's in a wheelchair, like refusing to do that, is like really the biggest red flag. Everything else I feel like is kind of explainable, but this day is actually about your sister and not about you, and I feel like most people would really understand, so I don't know. Someone said, "You are the asshole, but own that shit. Send out a mass blast to the whole wedding list that your sister isn't doing well again, and that you are concerned she might not be able to make the wedding. And even if she can, she'll likely be in a wheelchair. But you know she loves you, and she wouldn't want her illness to disrupt her special day." Oh, okay, no, maybe not. Maybe not. I don't know. They said, "And for bonus points, hold a moment of silent prayer for health during your reception speeches. Lean into that chat." Someone commented under that and said, "Oh, I'd add a statement about how Anna doesn't want to draw any attention away from the bride, so please ignore the wheelchair." But I'm petty like that. Okay. I feel like this is too much. Yeah, I feel like the right way to approach this is to inform the relatives beforehand and really sit down the family to make sure that you kind of feel unseen in this. I feel like, again, this has been going on for a little longer than is let on here, so I hope this gets fixed. I'm sure, like, already when they were a kid, you know, as hard as it is to be the sick child in the family, she would have gotten more attention than her sister, and it would have been something that would have been going on for years. So I don't know, I feel like she's within her rights to insist on her wedding day being about her, and for her sister to at least let everyone know beforehand. She's not even like, "I don't want her to come because she's in a wheelchair." She's only wanting that everyone knows before the wedding, and it isn't the shocker, the talk of the day, but that her wedding is the special moment everyone's talking about. So I feel like it is very fair, and it is very appropriate. So yeah, let's continue. The next story has been posted 26 days ago and got 14k upvotes, and it's called, "Am I the asshole for suggesting we lock up the Christmas presents after what my niece did last year?" Every year, my siblings and I, alongside our families, spend Christmas with our parents. We stay at their houses for a few days. Everyone opens gifts together. It's hectic, but a lot of fun. The kids enjoy having one big sleepover with their cousins. My mum likes having everyone home again. We all pitch in. It's a win-win. Last year, my brother married Sally. She has a 7-year-old daughter, Mindy. This was their first Christmas with us. It seemed like they were having a fun time. Christmas Eve, all the kids went to the finished basement to sleep. We told the kids to not open up gifts without us and to wake us up when they did. This was repeated several times. Once the kids were asleep, we put all the gifts under the tree and eventually went to bed ourselves. The next morning, around 6 a.m., I wake up early and head downstairs. I find the living room in a mess. Half of the gifts were unwrapped. Several of them had been ripped from their boxes. There was Mindy playing with some of the toys. Most of the ones weren't even hers. She knows how to read, and they were all labelled, so she knew this. I was in shock. I went and got my brother, Sally, alongside the rest of the adults. Sally was super embarrassed, and my mom was very upset. The other kids weren't up yet, so we tried to salvage what we could while Sally talked to Mindy. Not everything could be fixed, and she had broken a couple of toys completely. The broken ones weren't even her own toys. Luckily, not everything was damaged, and even the boxes that were, the kids didn't notice. But my nephew, my sister's son, had one of his big gifts destroyed, and he was very sad when everyone else got theirs, while he was told he'd have to wait for a new one to come back in. Sally and my brother reimbursed everyone. Mindy didn't get to open gifts with everyone, but joined the festivities later. She apologized, but kept making excuses. She said she didn't want to wait, and she wanted to see what everyone else got. We're all preparing to go to my parents again this year. I put in the group chat that we should either lock the door to the living room this year, or put a gate around the tree so no one can get to it. I didn't even name names, just specifically said no one. Sally and my brother got mad, accusing me of treating Mindy like a baby or an animal. Sorry. I said I'm not, but this is a precaution so none of the kids are tempted. They said this isn't necessary and I'm holding a mistake over Mindy's head. I said no, I'm not. I'm trying to make sure we have no repeat. Because I know it'll be asked. Mindy doesn't have autism or ADHD, and even if she did, my daughter has ADHD and both my sister's kids are on the spectrum. They knew better. I don't think Mindy was malicious, she was only 6, but I do think precautions should be made. My parents agree with me and my brother is mad that I put it in their hands. Okay fam, I don't know, I would I mean, I feel like if this is going to be a repeat of last Christmas, you know, you're going to be even more embarrassed, and there won't be no talking yourself out of this, so why wouldn't you want to get, you know, nothing can happen then. You're on the clear, your kid's in the clear, your kids don't have to feel bad. Like, really think about, you know, she's not gonna like consequences if she goes up on Christmas night again and unwraps all these presents because she just has access to it. You know, what's gonna happen for her? What's the consequence for her again? She's 7, she doesn't care if she's embarrassing herself, you know. But if she goes up and the door's locked, she's gonna be like, oh, and she's gonna have to run back, you know. And if she's not gonna bring up that the door was locked, and if she does, you know exactly what she was going to do, so I feel like locking the door is a win-win. The next comment also says, not the asshole. I don't understand why your bro and sister-in-law are upset. You aren't asking them to lock Mindy in a room or put an ankle bracelet on her, or even that they have a talk with her before Christmas to remind her not to open presents. You're not advocating for her to be marched around the house with a ring bell. What? No, hang on. You're not advocating for her to march through the house where you ring a bell and scream shame at her. You're suggesting that the door to the living room gets locked overnight. Nothing needs to be said to the kids, because if they stay in bed, they won't even know. Yes, that is what I was saying. She will not even know. If she doesn't go out to check it out. Alright, I think I have one more story. I have time for one more story, yeah. So I'm trying to choose a good one for us. Let's see. Okay, friends, I thought I saw this story and I thought this would be the perfect one to end this video on, because I think it's quite hilarious, okay? So this story was posted 1 month ago and has 13.7k upvotes, and it is called Am I the Asshole for Swearing at My Doctor While Giving Birth? I, 28 female, gave birth to my baby 2 weeks ago. I was in labour for close to 30 hours and was incredibly exhausted. My doctor was great the whole way through, and I never had any issues with him. Towards the end, the pain was unbearable. I couldn't have an epidural due to a heart condition, and I felt like I was on the verge of passing out from the pain. During an awful contraction, I said, Jesus fucking Christ. My doctor looked at me and said, please don't use the Lord's name in vain. I quickly responded with, go fuck yourself. My doctor didn't say much for the remainder of the birth. Afterwards, my husband told me maybe I should apologize. I didn't, but now thinking back on it, I maybe should have. I feel pretty guilty and I'm considering sending an apology note to the hospital. Am I the asshole for what I said? Okay, it's kind of funny. I don't know if it's hilarious, like, the straight up, go fuck yourself. It's kind of funny because I'm not very religious, and I say like, oh God, or oh Lord, or something. I don't say Jesus fucking Christ. But I say oh God a lot, and I sometimes feel like, oh, why am I saying this? Like, I'm not even religious, you know, it's just a saying I can't get out of my head, and I constantly say it, and sometimes I'm trying to actively say it less, cause I'm like, you know, oh, like, am I offending anyone, you know, but I kind of feel like said something like super racist or like super rude, it's like that maybe would have been too much, you know. But saying that, which is like so many people say that, you know, and then the doctor has to be like petty while she's giving birth and be like, please don't use the Lord's name in vain. I would have smacked him right smack bang in the middle. Because the thing is, right, I feel like it's just very integrated in our language. That was like my whole point with telling the story. I'm not even that religious, and I say stuff like that all the time just because I grew up in Germany where a lot of people are Catholic or Protestant. I did used to go to church back in the day, and it's just kind of like I'm still in church. I never like exited or whatever. I'm also like I got my how's it called, communion? I don't know how it's called in English, but whatever. So yeah, it's kind of like I say it a lot just because I'm so used to saying that. So I probably want to say this as well. I don't know. I feel like she doesn't have to apologize for it. Maybe if she would have apologized right afterwards. But that doctor was probably like worked on a night shift anyway. He forgot about her the second he walked out there. He would have had so much worse. I don't know. I feel like this is a pretty problem to have a problem with. I don't know. I think her husband is like chill out. It was funny, okay? It's a great story. It's a great story, okay? When my brother was under anesthesia for surgery, he had obviously like half naked, and he was like, oh my god, he was like 13, 14, okay? And he was full on trying to flirt with this young nurse while she was like checking his wounds while he was like naked as fuck. So, you know, I feel like doctors and nurses, they used to so much worse, okay? Top comment is, oh good lord. Oh, I mean, I cannot imagine that this is the worst thing any OBGYN heard during a birth. I have an acquaintance who was a nurse at an ICU, and she says it's a pretty common occurrence for even the most British religious whatever of women will curse like a proverbial sailor, letting loose of tapestry of obscenities that, as far as we know, is still hanging in space over Lake Michigan. Who remembers that quote? I don't. Seems a lot. What? It seems a reasonable method of release when in pain. I can imagine. Your husband needs to relax, and honestly, if your OBGYN really said this to you in the middle of labor, fuck that guy. Honestly, well, this might seem extreme. That's a doctor changing moment. How concerned about your care could he possibly have been if Jesus fucking Christ gives him a pause? I mean, it's not like you said to him to be careful because you want to sacrifice the baby within 10 minutes of being born. Not the asshole by a lot. Doc is, and your husband isn't far behind. Yeah, I don't know, I'm confused about that. I feel like the writing was off. Someone else said, not the asshole, I had a completely unmedicated labor, not by choice. At one point, a male doctor came in and told me that I needed to relax and stop screaming. I told him to fuck off. He laughed sharpish, and the midwives found it hilarious. Apparently, the doctor was a bit of a dick, and lots of people were scared of him. When your husband and doctor push a human being out of the genitals, then they can have an opinion on what you say during labor. Obviously, they can, as you perfectly put it, go fuck themselves. I love that. That is actually hilarious. I feel like this is just a funny story. Again, the guy would have had worse. And what's this problem? I don't know. What